And Droid may look like a quirky robot comedy on the surface, but beneath all the awkward humor and chaotic situations lies a surprisingly emotional story about growing old, dealing with grief, and discovering that family is not always defined by blood. Set in the near future during the year 2029, the series follows an elderly widow named Sue, whose quiet life is unexpectedly transformed by a malfunctioning care robot named Linda. Over 6 episodes, the show balances absurd comedy with heartfelt emotional moments, building toward a finale that is both funny and deeply moving. The story begins with Sue living alone after the death of her husband. She is fiercely independent and refuses to admit that she needs help, even though she has started suffering dangerous falls around the house. Her son Michael genuinely worries about her safety, but he also has problems of his own. Trying to repair his failing relationship and overwhelmed by guilt, Michael decides to buy a second-hand elder care robot to look after his mother. That robot is Linda. Unfortunately, Linda is hardly a perfect assistant. She is an outdated, discontinued model known for glitches, rigid programming, and absolutely no understanding of normal human behavior. Sue immediately dislikes the idea of having a robot invade her personal space. Out of spite, she even gives the machine the name Linda, borrowing it from a sister she never got along with. At first, every interaction between them is filled with frustration. Linda follows every instruction literally, misunderstands jokes, ignores social boundaries, and constantly embarrasses Sue. However, Sue slowly realizes that Linda's complete lack of common sense can sometimes be surprisingly useful. Instead of fighting the robot, she begins using Linda's robotic logic to create chaos in ways that actually entertain her. Their strange partnership slowly begins to grow. In the second episode, Sue desperately tries to prove she is still capable of living independently by volunteering at a local charity shop. Naturally, Linda insists on accompanying her. What should have been a simple day quickly turns into a complete disaster. Linda interprets customer conversations with perfect robotic literalism, creating awkward misunderstandings and ruining Sue's efforts to show everyone that she can manage on her own. Although Sue is embarrassed, the episode also highlights her growing attachment to the robot. No matter how much Linda annoys her, she is never truly alone anymore. Episode 3 takes the pair to the seaside. Hoping to escape everyday life for a while, Sue enjoys a relaxing day out. Linda, however, enthusiastically joins every activity, including a roller coaster ride that pushes her outdated hardware almost beyond its limits. The resulting chaos creates one of the funniest moments of the season. But underneath the comedy is something more meaningful. Sue begins seeing Linda not simply as a machine, but as a companion willing to share every experience with her without complaint. Episode 4 shifts attention toward Sue's complicated family. She invites Michael and his former wife Renee for dinner, hoping everyone can enjoy one peaceful evening together. Instead, Linda's brutally honest observations expose every unresolved tension around the table. She points out uncomfortable truths that everyone else avoids discussing. The dinner quickly falls apart. Yet the disaster also reveals how dysfunctional Sue's family has become. Ironically, the only member of the household trying to help everyone is the socially clueless robot. The 5th episode sends Sue and Linda on a camping trip. Linda enthusiastically encourages Sue to leave her comfort zone and experience something different. Unfortunately, surviving outdoors proves just as difficult for an outdated robot as anyone might expect. Camping equipment, wildlife, and basic outdoor tasks all become hilarious obstacles. Despite the endless mishaps, Sue enjoys herself far more than she expected. For perhaps the first time since losing her husband, she begins creating genuinely happy memories again. Everything leads to the emotional final episode on the day of Sue's 50th wedding anniversary. By now, Michael's own life has completely collapsed. He is jobless. His relationship falls apart after he learns that his girlfriend is carrying another man's child. With nowhere else to go, he reluctantly moves back into his mother's house. Desperate to reduce expenses, Michael decides to return Linda before the expensive care contract causes even more financial problems. But since Linda is an obsolete model whose replacement parts are no longer manufactured, returning her does not mean she will simply be assigned to another family. Instead, she will be permanently destroyed. Linda is scheduled to be scrapped. On Sue's anniversary, while surrounded by family and friends, everyone lets her down. Michael remains distracted by his own problems. Sue finds herself sitting alone, where she discovers a gift Linda has left for her, a tape featuring her late husband's voice that Linda created, leaving Sue deeply emotional. And she realizes something. The one person who consistently protected her from loneliness was never another human being. It was Linda. The awkward robot everyone treated like outdated machinery had become her most loyal companion. Meanwhile, Linda arrives at the disposal facility. There, she meets another female robot facing the same fate. Rather than accepting destruction, Linda makes a decision completely beyond what anyone expected from her programming. She organizes an escape. Together, the two robots flee before they can be dismantled. It is one of the most uplifting moments in the entire season because Linda chooses survival instead of simply following instructions. Eventually, the runaway robots make their way back towards Sue's neighborhood. In an ironic twist, Sue accidentally bumps into them with her car. Thankfully, nobody is seriously harmed. When she steps outside and recognizes Linda standing there alive, her reaction says everything. She is overjoyed. Without hesitation, she rejects the idea of ever sending Linda away again. The robot is no longer simply a piece of technology. She is family. The finale ends with one final surprise. The second runaway robot immediately catches Michael's attention. Despite recently swearing that he has given up on relationships altogether, he finds himself unexpectedly attracted to her. The moment is intentionally humorous, but it also hints that this unusual household is about to become even stranger. The ending of Droid is ultimately about redefining family. Every major character begins the season feeling isolated. Sue believes independence means facing everything alone. Michael keeps running away from responsibility. Linda is treated as disposable technology with no emotional value. By the finale, all three have changed. Sue accepts that needing help is not a weakness. Michael begins rebuilding his life instead of avoiding it. Linda proves that compassion is measured through actions rather than biology or artificial intelligence. The final image of humans and runaway robots sharing one home perfectly captures the message of the series. Family is not created by perfect relationships. It is created by the people who choose to stay when everyone else walks away. And Droid Season 1 closes with warmth, hope, and a reminder that sometimes the most human heart in the room belongs to someone who was never human at all.